These kind of tales of warriors, of their feats of strength, kind of filled my imagination up. Then came 10th standard, and I kind of gave up all of this because there was a lot of parental pressure for me to do well. And I really hated it because I realized that this is not who I am. And that's when I actually made up my mind. I said, no matter what life throws my way, I am going to balance my life with everything. It does not matter if I'm not performing in, in studies or academics to the top level that I could be, but that's not who I am. It's you as an individual. Your passion could lie anywhere, and it's to devote that time to your passion every day in your life, and that's what keeps you alive. If your mind can think it, if your mind can imagine it, then your body will follow. What I cannot live with is not knowing that I could have done something and I admitted defeat before that.
I'm Satish Rao. I'm an abundance crusader, vlogger, affiliate marketeer, and a direct marketeer. I am passionate about creating abundance in all areas of our lives. Our aspirations as mankind is growing. We have begun to question ourselves and are trying to delve deep within to understand ourselves and to grow from within. We want to operate out of a sense of purpose. We have realized that humans can alter their lives by altering the attitudes of mind. Here's an attempt to connect, share, get some of the successful people to open up, and in the process learn and find the best within us. An attempt to delve into their minds, thought process and attitudes, how they think, feel, operate, and what are the habits that make them who they are. In the process, accept ourselves with all our insecurities, vulnerabilities, fear, and work towards transforming ourselves and in making ourselves our better version for today and tomorrow.
So I think currently you're starting your own venture, new venture,
That's
one
right.
more venture. So how did it come about? Basically, I think you are, from what I understand from what you speak, is that you are a believer of not just the body, mind, body, and even soul.
Yes.
To a large extent. So what? How does it connect with your existing venture that you're starting now?
Right. So I believe that when you find a certain fitment in or a gap in the industry, it's very important that you actually focus towards it and see how can it actually be solved. Now, this was a very abstract thing, right? I was heading sales for a software testing company before. And here I noticed that I was able to understand the customer environment, those said and unsaid things about what would actually take a guy to succeed and what he actually wanted. Now, he would give me a work profile, a job description, and his requirements of what kind of people he wanted, and according to the resumes and skill sets. But I would also ask him to take a few other guys who were not suitable for that particular, JD or job description, but I knew they had the personality for it. So 3 months, 4 months down the line, he would actually come back to me and say, you know what, this guy whom you recommended, he is actually doing really well now. So this was a very intuitive thing where I was, where 9 out of 10 times I would say that, this guy would actually fit in, right? And that's when I started talking about this to my to my friend Arjit, who is now my business partner, who was actually into gaming and to serious games or games with a purpose. So he said that. So this kind of thing, when we were discussing, he said this is actually something that we can do through game-based assessments. Because the industry today is hiring for people with skills in that particular technology and stuff. But the primary thing of personality for that particular role itself is actually missing. And that is something that we can provide through game-based assessments. Because when a player plays a game, he's not able to forethink about what the objective of the person who's asking the question is. He plays it through his personality. You look at a door, are you going to push it? Are you going to pull it? That's your personality. You look at a cup like this. If I'm asking you to move, are you going to lift the cup and keep it here? Or are you just going to slide it? That's your personality. So this personality can actually be brought out. And the actual gap in the industry today is that in any team, department or organization as a whole, that there are only 10% who are the real passionate, self-initiated go-getters. So through this product of ours, we want to change the team composition to over 50%, 60% individuals who are passionate and self-initiated. So imagine the kind of impact that it is going to have for an organization as a whole, right? Imagine the kind of innovation that it is going to bring in. Imagine the kind of ownership that it will bring in the individuals who are actually performing. Because if I'm passionate about something, I would love to talk about it. I own it with its defects. I own the whole thing. So I'm not hesitant in looking at it and fixing it. I'm keeping customer as an end user who's actually using my product. Right, so I'm looking at him and saying, how is he going to use it? So instead of me writing 10 or 100 lines of code and saying, okay, the code works, after this I'm going home, I'm actually keeping the customer in mind and saying, in this particular geography, these are the browser versions or Android versions which are popular, iOS versions which are popular. So does it work on those versions or not? I'm actually keeping and designing my product with the customer in mind. So that is what passion does. It lifts you up from where you are, from that stagnancy to a different stratosphere completely.
So this product is going to be a big game changer for the recruiters as well.
It is going to revolutionize the industry. So we have spoken to over 50 companies. So we are in the process of developing the product. And even before that, before we took the plunge, we went and spoke to a whole lot of veterans in the industry, people in the, in IT companies. And because, IT companies, because we are connected there, we have use cases in manufacturing, in defense, and hospitality, and elsewhere. But IT, because we are close to it, both Arjit and I come from that background. So when we went and spoke to a whole lot of people from the industry, they all loved the product. They resonated with the concept. They said that, yes, there is a gap like this which it is going to solve. So we are pretty excited about it.
Very nice, very interesting. So Anil, how does your day-to-day routine look like? People want to know. People like to know how does it look for a fitness enthusiast and for a very aggressive corporate career driven kind of a person.
Right. If I tell you my daily routine, then it would it looks a little improbable, I would say, implausible, because I am on a 1 meal a day diet. Okay, and when I say 1 meal a day, I eat between somewhere between 4 to 8 or between 6 to 9, things like that, towards the evening. And throughout the day, I'm only on water. And I'm a very active individual. Wherever I go cycling. I go cycling to my office, I go cycling to my customer places, and I'm always bubbling with energy. So people ask me, they kind of, first it's like a shot to the mind, right? That you only eat once a day. But yeah, so that's what it is, and that keeps me slim, because from a scientific point of view, think about it, right? You are active, okay, and you don't have anything in your stomach. So what is the first thing that the body prioritizes? It's not the energy for everything else, but it's the energy to the mind. So the first thing that so if you have an energy reservoir, I can get into the technicalities of it, but I'll just say in a layman's term that if you have an energy reservoir, and that energy has to be allocated to keep your body alive, then the first thing that it gives your body gives preference to is the brain, right? So you can think with clarity. If you are eating, then that entire energy is also going into digestion, okay? But if you're on a fasted state, and that's why in the ancient times the rishis and munis used to fast so much. They're in their meditative state. They never used to eat anything, because all the thing is channeled to the crown chakra. So that's how it goes. So anyways, it keeps me energetic. It keeps me with a lot of clarity in my head. You're able to think through the clutter and do exactly what is required. And I recommend everybody to try it, but this is not a diet for everyone, because you really need to have that mental willpower. There are times where you may actually feel like giving up and going and eating something and stuff like that. So you got to go through that barrier, or I would say through that mental threshold, that you can actually do this. I've been on this diet for a year now, and or not a year, since December. Yeah, so it's been about 7-8 months, and I would say that it's working out great for me.
Very nice, very nice. So what would be your message to people who are entrepreneurs, who are struggling with their journey of entrepreneurship, and also to people in corporate lives, who want to do well in the career and also have a balance.
Satish, you may have heard about this concept called Satsang, right? Yeah. So what is Satsang? Satsang is that people of the same spiritual bandwidth, they actually sit and they're able to feed off each other's energies, right? Because this world is, if you actually interact with a lot of people in this world, right? I would say that a lot of people are negative. Like I said, 10% or lesser are the real passionate, self-initiated guys, which means 90% of the people that you're interacting with are somebody who have submitted to life.
Yeah, and Satsang, you can also call it mastermind. We call it like mastermind or Satsang. Right. It's a cohesive group of people who are like-minded and who are passionate about what they do.
Yes. So you got to know that you've got to protect your state of mind. And how do you do that? You got to kind of get together with the people who are really passionate in other spheres of life. For example, Arjit, I'll give you a very simple example, okay? So Arjit, my co-founder, he is also of a, he and I are gym buddies, right? And he's also crazily committed, okay? So here's the thing, we were recently in Ahmedabad for an investor meeting, and we found a gym there to work out, and we were there on day 1 and day 2, we worked out. And day 3, we had a meeting at 9 o'clock. So I told Arjit saying, dude, we've got a meeting at 9 o'clock. So I don't think we can work out, tomorrow. So Arjit is so crazy, and he's got another crazy diet plan of his own, right? So he has to eat and get his carbs and everything 2 hours before his workout. So would you believe this guy? He actually keeps an alarm at 4 o'clock. Okay. Previous night he has soaked his oats and he has done all that stuff for his meal. He actually keeps an alarm at 4 o'clock, and I can in my background in my sleep, I can hear him chomping, right? And I'm like, dude, this guy is going to work out today. So he keeps an alarm at 4, eats, goes back to sleep. He keeps an alarm at 6 o'clock, wakes up, hits the gym at between 6:30 to 7:30. He is back home at 8 o'clock. 8:30, he is ready with me to go. And I wake up and I'm like, dude, you are something else. So, I mean, what I'm saying is that you surround yourself with people who inspire you. Yeah. People who are, who you think that, okay, this is where I end. And you see that this guy is facing similar or a worse situation, but he is able to bring that mental toughness to go beyond. What you thought was impossible, you see this guy going beyond that impossibility, the same situation, or maybe worse. And you're saying, wow, I mean, this is inspiring. If he can do it, then why can't I? And in my life, I have always tried to see that, for me, I have never worked out with a gym partner. Because I've always felt that if you are kind of dependent on another person, right, then you kind of, if he doesn't turn up at the gym, then you don't turn up at the gym. So try and find somebody who's even more inspired than you, right? So you then start seeing that this guy is pushing through those boundaries. Then you start telling yourself, why can't I? Why can't I? And to other entrepreneurs and people in their corporate lives, most of the people that you come across will always be that way. Okay, they will usually be pot-bellied. They would have submitted their lives to the circumstances that are surrounding them, and they would have accepted defeat. And this is what separates the grain from the chaff. You go beyond that. You make yourself, because whatever you do in that sphere of life, which you create as your success, as for me, okay, I'll tell you this concept about me, right? So for me, gym is my small sphere of success. It is my sphere of achievement. It's my sphere where I push myself really hard and I come out thinking, oh dude, I died, but I did something. So I start with martial arts training where, I do my stretches, I do my kicks, I do my punching bag routines and everything. And then I go into weights where I literally kill myself. And then I come out thinking, wow, that was a great workout. Now imagine you've come out, you've set your life, you've set your day saying, wow, that was something great that I did. I know I had less sleep. And I can tell you that most days, okay, when I'm going to the gym, I'm thinking, oh shit, I didn't have sleep. Do you think I can go and work out there? I am in self-doubt that will it be a good workout? Not that I can't get to the gym. I know I'll get my ass to the gym, but will it be a good workout? Will it be something that I can be proud of? And when I come out of the gym, I know I have overcome those circumstances and I have created a sphere of achievement for myself. And that starts overflowing into every other aspect of your life. You know you're faced with tough circumstances. This last few months have been extremely trying for me. I can tell you that there have been family pressures. My father telling me that, you were more comfortable in a job. There were circumstances saying, okay, how do I get to the next level of funding? Where is my next meal going to come from? Everything is, these are things which are seeding those seeds of doubt in your head saying, is this the right path? So at that point in time, you have to find that particular sphere of achievement where you say, this keeps me going. This is something that I'm doing. It fills me up with positivity. I come out thinking, okay, how else can I do it? I'm not going to admit defeat because I know I have something going good for me in terms of my business. If it's at an idea stage, I want to go after it. I want to fulfill my dream of achieving its potential. Even if it fails, it doesn't matter. I can always go back to a job. But then I want to see that particular thing achieving its full potential to take it to its full limit. And then saying, okay, I've seen it. It could be a success, it could be a failure. But then what I cannot live with is not knowing that I could have done something and I admitted defeat before that, right? So I want to do that. I want to, even if I fail, I don't care. I mean, when I go under a weight and I know it's, I'm really tired and I know I can't push it, but I go under the weight, I'm not thinking I'm tired. I'm thinking, I got to do this. I look at myself at my own eyes in the mirror and I'm saying to myself, can you do it or not? And I'm like, come on, let's go for it, man. Let's do this shit, right? So this aspect of yours starts overflowing into other things. And fitness, martial arts, bodybuilding, everything is true, as a male, to become an alpha male, it's so important. It gets your testosterone up. Your endorphins start rushing. There is a substance, chemical called dopamine, which is released. Dopamine is the same thing, which is when you smoke weed. It's a feel-good chemical. You come out feeling great, and then everything else just falls in place. There were times when, just a few months back, where I felt like actually giving up. And I went and I cycled really hard and I came back home. And when I came back home, I actually in my head, I had other ideas of how I could make it work. And this is a practical thing that happened with me. So if it could happen with me, then I'm sure it could happen with a whole lot of other people out there who are going through the same kind of struggles that I'm going through.
Very, very inspiring, Anil. So it's been a pleasure talking to you once again here. And I wish you all the very best with your new venture.
Thank you so much.
Keep inspiring people.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Satish. Yeah.